special, and I'm tired of your shit.
Can't you see? Everyone! They're here already! You're next!
Let's go!
Welcome to the future, where the glass is half full and you'll need new glasses, where you'll be jumping from conclusions.
The past is annulled, and a new future is born!
Never before in history has so much meant so little to so many. AD on the radio.
Do you think that you let yourself get swayed by other people's opinions, by peer pressure? I mean, look, it's a process that starts in your life from a time where you're very, very young. And I think a lot of the time you go, that's cool. And a bunch of people around you go, that's not cool. And then your little fourth grade brain goes, I guess that's not cool, even though I like it. Huh. And it's such an important lesson to learn. Such an important lesson to learn that what your peers think doesn't really matter. What you think, what you feel, what's in your heart, that is of paramount importance. And the reason that's of paramount importance is because the sooner you realize that, the sooner it allows you to be true to yourself. And the sooner you are true to yourself, the cooler you're going to be with yourself and the cooler you're going to be to the people around you. The time I figured it out was when I was going to my buddy Scott's birthday party. And I don't remember exactly how old we were. It was one of the last birthday parties that we had before girls were involved. So it was a bunch of little dudes who talked about girls but didn't actually talk to girls yet. And I remember I'd reached that age as well. You're on the precipice of all sorts of things that verge on adulthood. And I think one of the things that my mom decided that I should start doing was paying for stuff on my own, out of my allowance, out of my chore money, stuff like that. So when it came time to buy my buddy Scott a birthday present, I didn't have a whole bunch of cash burning a hole in my pocket. So I remember thinking, all right, Scott and I share a love of music. So I went to a compact disc store and I found on sale, and if you have this album or if you know about this album, you know why I thought it was so freaking cool. I found on sale the Judgment Night soundtrack. Judgment Night was a movie that, to be honest, to this day, I haven't seen. I heard it was not very good. But the soundtrack was super cool. What they did was they took a bunch of hip-hop artists of the day and a bunch of rock artists of the day and paired them together to make groundbreaking music. I think the one song off of the Judgment Night soundtrack that everybody knows is Faith No More and Booyah Tribe, Another Body Murdered. It's awesome. But Helmet and House of Pain were together on it. And Cypress Hill, and I believe Cypress Hill and Dinosaur Jr., I think it was. Anyways, really cool collaborations, an amazing groundbreaking record. And so this is on sale, and I get it from my friend Scott. And I remember he's opening up his birthday presents, surrounded by a bunch of kids, and he goes, "What is this? The soundtrack to a Dennis Leary movie?" What, does you think I'm a really big Dennis Leary fan? And everybody around him went, "Oh God, lame gift. Who got him that?" And I was just like, I wanted the floor to open up and swallow me whole. Because before they even put it on and listen to the music, man, they'd already sort of bashed it to pieces and bashed the giver of that gift to pieces. And when you're that age, and you're surrounded by a jury of your peers who have declared what you thought was cool was lame, it's an interesting thing to swallow. And I remember thinking, well, I think it's cool, but I'm going to keep quiet about the fact that it was me that got it for him, because it has been summarily dissed by everybody around. Cut to 6 months later or so, and I'm over at Scott's house, and all of a sudden I hear this music. He's like, "Have you heard this?" I was like, "Yeah, I know what this is." He's like, "Yeah, this is Faith No More and Booyah Tribe. This is awesome, dude. Turn this up. This is great. You need to hear this." And I was like, how'd you hear this? He's like, "Oh man, somebody gave me the soundtrack. I didn't even know. Like, I don't even know who it was, but I got the soundtrack, and I didn't know it was on it, but I've been listening to it, and it's really awesome." I was like, oh, you thought this was really awesome? And you don't remember who it was that gave it to you? He's like, no idea. But have you heard it? I was like, yeah, I've heard it. I own it. I got it for you for your birthday. And you told me it was a stupid gift and that it sucked. He was like, oh, well, I was wrong. Check this out. Turn it up. And I remember doing the preteen cost-benefit analysis of that situation and going, no, you know what? Had I the choice, knew I the reaction, I would give this guy this soundtrack, this music all over again, knowing that he wound up loving it, even if I did have to be insulted in front of him and a bunch of my peers, because this is awesome. And, well, I find that same sense of self, that same sense of knowing the right thing to do, tested every single day now, thanks to our new president. Case in point, this morning I was like, hey, our president did this. That's pretty cool. And people went, yeah, you suck and you're stupid. And I went, I'm not so sure. We'll get into why next.
Real radio. Real radio.
104.1.
Where the left and right come together for fundamental truths. AD on the radio. On Twitter at ADSXE.
Funkhauser, play that Faith No More Booyah Tribe song again, super quick.
Well, that's uncensored on it, so there we go.
Oh, maybe, well,
we could
play
try
the first
it,
5 seconds. Yeah. So this is on the Judgment Night soundtrack, which is an incredible soundtrack. I got it from my friend as a birthday present. In front of a bunch of my peers, he was like, what the hell is this? A soundtrack to a Dennis Leary movie? Lamest birthday gift ever. Whoever got me this clearly doesn't care about my feelings. And so I wanted to shrink into the ground. But I thought at the time this music was awesome. Turn it up, Funkhauser.
Now I gotta murder to get away. The I get the kill, now the fools gotta pay.
Quick, stop it. They're about to curse. That's all you get before they drop the F-bomb. I'm pretty sure. But I thought it was incredible. And the whole album is fantastic. Helmet and House of Pain do a song together. Sir Mix-a-Lot. No, it was Sir Mix-a-Lot. And Sir Mix-a-Lot and Dinosaur Jr., I think.
When is that rule going to go away, by the way? When can we play whatever we want? That seems like it's going to happen.
With the curse words?
Yeah, I mean, president does it.
Yeah, you're allowed to in England. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't
really?
know. It's just, well, I mean, I honestly think it's because like a big part of the way the government makes money, even though we've got one of the cursingest presidents in the history of cursing presidents at the moment, is the FCC likes to fine radio people. Like there's so much money to be made from a bazinga about something that is a perceived, what do they call it? Not objectionable.
It's going down the tubers.
What do they call it, Funkhauser? When we drop obscene material? Do they call it obscene material? I can't remember. Yeah,
I have never done it, so I don't know.
Exactly. I haven't been busted doing it. So
I pass all the tests.
Yeah. So, but I think that's why we're not allowed to do what we want to do and say what we want to say when we're on radio, because there's just good bazinga dollars to be made by the FCC for catching people like us. Yeah, the morality police. Really, like the internet sort of destroyed this perception of us being a moral society, the fabric of which must be upheld no matter what. Like that just doesn't exist anymore. That is no longer a thing. However, while there's still money to be made off of popping people for dropping the F-bomb on broadcast radio, we're going to have an FCC. So there we go. Anyways, I give the Judgment Night soundtrack for my friend in front of all of our peers. He goes, what the hell is this? So what? Dennis Leary's movie's soundtrack? Who the hell got me this? This is dumb. And in front of him and all my peers, I wanted the floor to swallow me up because I really, really love this music. And I was like, no, you don't understand if you just put it on and listen. And like before it even got into the CD player, it was dismissed as a terrible birthday gift. And I was like, oh, dude. And then cut to, like I said earlier, a couple months later, I'm at my friend's house and he's bumping it full volume. He's like, I don't even know who got me this, but this is awesome. I was like, oh, you don't, do you? Well, that was me. And he's like, oh, cool, thanks. I was like, Oh, you've got no idea the internal anguish this giving of a gift caused me. Like, I just wanted to give the gift of awesome music, and I was branded an idiot, a simpleton, an outsider, and a bad birthday gift giver by you and all my peers. Fortunately, I don't think you noticed that my name was on the present, so I never got busted for it. But I remember doing like this preteen cost-benefit analysis in my mind, going, all right. If I knew the reaction it was going to get, and then knew how much he would wind up loving the music on it just a couple months later, would I continue to do the same thing? And I went, you know what? F it. Yes, I would, because this is great music, and I've shared it with a friend who I care about, and I think that's awesome. That was my logic then, and that is my logic now. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what peers think. Everybody's entitled to an opinion. Everyone is entitled to follow the mentality of the herd. That's your prerogative. But it was one of several experiences that taught me, be cool with yourself and what you think and what you believe in your heart. And it's something that I'm practicing today. I don't know if you saw it or not, but I mentioned it to a couple of people. I was like, hey, that's kind of cool. Donald Trump donated his first quarter salary to the National Park Service. $78,333 donated by Donald Trump to the National Park Service. They announced this on Monday. During the presidential campaign, Trump said he would donate his $400,000 annual salary if he was elected, and he's doing what he said he was going to do. And I mentioned this to people. I was like, hey, that's kind of cool. He didn't donate it to, the Trump Foundation for God knows what. He donated it to the Parks Department. And the Interior Secretary, Ryan Zinke, said they were thrilled at Trump's decision. They said, we're going to dedicate and put it against the infrastructure on our nation's battlefields. We are about $229 million behind in deferred maintenance on our battlefields alone. So that $78,000 is a drop in the ocean. But you know what? I like that our president is, A, keeping his promise, B, going here. I know that I'm setting an example every single day. I live by example. And therefore, I'm setting the example of donating money that I can afford to donate to the Parks Department. Cool thing to donate it to as well. So there you go. I think that's a good thing. Make no mistake about it. I think there are many problems with Trump. And I think a big part of the problem with Trump is the example that he sets. The way he goes through life speaks volumes to impressionable people literally around the globe. And the way he reacts is not what I would call, well, look, I was brought up in England. I'm English. I believe in manners. I believe that manners are an easy way in which to let other people know you care about your feelings. I will always default to manners. And when it comes to manners, Trump not scoring especially high. And a lot of people go, that's just Trump being Trump. And, that's okay. But at the same time, I like manners. And I like the fact that he's living by example and making a donation to the Parks Department and setting that example, which is cool. People jumped all over me for saying this, and we'll get into that next.
It's going down the tubers.
Real radio. 104.1.
Don't get the blues, get all the news. We mean all of you guys out there in Radio Land. All aboard!
He's back. AD on the radio.
Give it up, yeah. Give it up, yeah. Bring this on, come on.
So there's this idea that if you voted for a candidate, if you're on that candidate's side, if that's your guy or girl, it doesn't matter what the elected office is, it destroys any idea that they might have ever been wrong about anything ever. Conversely, if you voted against them, it, in the mind of a lot of people, destroys the idea that they could be right or do something good or worthwhile. And that's the thing. That's the thing that I think bothers me the most. That's the reason why I'm talking about knowing what in your heart is good, knowing what you care about, and allowing yourself to feel good about the things that you care about. You're going to feel better a lot more of the time. Like with Donald Trump donating $78,000 of his salary to the Parks Department. That's a great thing. As we were saying earlier, there are many problems with Donald Trump. And I think the thing that bothers me the most about him is that he leads by example. And when it comes to his public treatment of other people, he doesn't set a very good example. Now there's these people that say, that's just Trump being Trump. He doesn't have to be weighed down by PC garbage. Well, there's a difference between freeing yourself of the shackles of PC garbage and being able to talk openly and honestly and frankly and respectfully, and just slamming everyone in sight that doesn't agree with you in a low blow sort of way. Donald Trump does that. That's how he won the election. Funkhauser, when you think of Ted Cruz, what do you think? What does Ted Cruz do?
Lion Ted.
Yeah. Do you know any lines that Ted Cruz has told? No. But he was advised by Steve Bannon to give his opponents nicknames. There was Crooked Hillary, Lion Ted, and do you remember what Marco Rubio was?
Oh, I forget. What was he?
Little Marco Rubio. Lion Ted, Little Marco, Crooked Hillary, Boring Bush, or so. I don't even remember. Low Energy Jeb or something. I don't recall. But those were the people that actually gave him any kind of trouble. So he added an insulting prefix to their name. And that, to me, that's not cool. Look, I believe in going through life respectfully, and you can respectfully disagree, and you can respectfully run a campaign against someone else. I believe in treating those around you with respect. Sometimes people deserve it, sometimes they don't. But I believe in that. And Donald Trump has made it clear on numerous occasions that he does not. I don't like that he sets that example. But that means when he sets the example of, hey, I'm taking my salary, $78,333, and donating it to the National Park Service, I love that he's setting that example. I think that's cool as hell. I think that's great. But there's folks that just are looking for something to be happy about. And you put something right under their noses and say, here's something to be happy about. That guy you hate that can do no right, that is sending us to hell in a handbasket, he made a sizable donation to the National Park Service. That's cool, right? Like, too little, too late. Everything Trump touches, says, or talks about is bad. Ah! And that's okay. You can feel that way. I respect your decision to feel that way. But when there's something good placed in front of you, I would allow yourself to feel good about it. And that's what I'm doing with Donald Trump donating money to the Parks Department. I think there's many problems with him as a president. I think there were many problems with Barack Obama as a president. I think there were many problems with George Bush as a president, and on and on and on. You're going to find a perfect one? No, you're not. You're going to find people that you absolutely disagree with and despise? Absolutely. But not everything that everyone does is going to be all good or all bad all the time. And if you allow yourself to see the positive, you don't have to deny the negative to do it. And that's why that little lesson I learned with the Judgment Night soundtrack when I was a kid, giving it to my friend as a birthday present, was an important lesson. It taught me that, hey, if I believe something, what my peers think is not going to bring me down. And I see that quite often, as was the case with my friend, quite often, they will come around. Remember that. Quite often, your friends will come around. So allow yourself to feel good about that which you feel good about. Does that make sense? That sounds like a thing. All right, cool. Should we do some news, Funkhauser? Let's do a little bit of news. What is going on in the world?
This is My Witness News. In no way, shape, or form fair and certainly not balanced. And now, super producer to the stars, Barry Funkhauser.
What? Oh, okay. I guess it's once today.
Just the one?
I guess so.
Oh, by the way, did you see that Jimmy Fallon sang a Phil Collins parody about Orlando, one of the cities we're on in? Do you see this? This doesn't exactly qualify as news, but I figured we'd be remiss if we didn't play this for the people of Orlando that are listening on WTKS.
I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Orlando. And I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Orlando.
since we're taking the show down to Orlando, I thought I'd sing this for our big opening.
Okay, we're out in the car waiting for you. Let's go. We're going on vacation. Nice!
But first, can you just play that awesome drum fill?
All right.
Very good. Very good. Into Lindsey Buckingham's Holiday Road. Not bad, right, Funkhauser?
Fine. Yeah. Okay, of Jimmy Fallon and James Corden and Stephen Colbert, who would you want to hang out with the most?
Who would want...
if they're all available tonight, but we can only hang out with one of them, who would you... I think Jimmy Fallon would be the bottom of my list.
Bottom of your list?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, man, I got to tell you, the internet and people's attention span have ruined late night television for me. I used to, and by the way, it would always be Kimmel. It would always be Kimmel.
That's why I left him off the list.
Yeah. I mean, Kimmel's the guy that I want to hang out with. Like, I love Kimmel. Like, Kimmel, here's the thing about, like, Kimmel. If you don't know, Jimmy Kimmel comes from radio, and it shows in his show. Like, everything that he does is basically from the mind of a person that grew up professionally in radio. I know he says that David Letterman is the reason for that he does everything, but like his whole style, his delivery, his shtick comes from being a radio guy. So I feel like as a broadcaster, you and I would probably have the most fun hanging out with him.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kimmel would be the person that we want to hang out with. Hanging out with Jimmy Fallon and James Corden seems exhausting.
You think they're on all the time?
It's just like, well, you think Conan's on all the time, and then you see him interviewed. He's like, "Are you paying me for this?" And the guy was like, "No." He's like, "Cool, I don't have to be funny."
Mm-hmm.
Like, so, and he's able to have a conversation. So I don't know. I don't know if they're on all the time. Some people are, and that is exhausting. And I don't enjoy hanging out with broadcasters of any variety that don't get that. Like, no,
you
like
can end the sentence there.
Yeah, I guess I could. No, because there's like, we've been around them, Funkhauser.
Yeah.
We've been like, you're having a conversation with some guy or girl that's on the radio, and it's like they're talking into a microphone and not really seeing you, and just waiting for you to cackle at their
whatever do you
one-liner.
mean?
Yeah, it's just, it's freaking exhausting. Like, everybody in our business likes to communicate in a series of quippy one-upmanship type of sentences, and I got no patience for it. Like, just not a thing for me. Like, but I think that the short form video has ruined late night television, because like I've probably watched every carpool karaoke on YouTube that James Corden has done. No idea what actually happens on his show. Never seen it. Never. And like I just don't watch late night television anymore. Like, I'll watch, when I had a DVR, I would watch Kimmel, and like, I would really look forward to it, but ever since I got rid of the DVR and just stream stuff on demand, like, the late night TV shows don't make it onto my watch list, because I don't really watch TV during the week. I just want to catch up on the weekend on things that I want to watch, and all that stuff is so day by day topical that they're telling jokes about stuff that's a week old. I'm like, we dealt with that on our show a week ago. There's not a lot here for me, so I don't know. I think out of the three guys that you mentioned, probably the most fun to hang out with would be Stephen Colbert. I think that would be. But I don't know if his show's that much fun to watch. Didn't it finally, like, wasn't it dying a death in ratings, and then all of a sudden he kind of came up and started dominating? Like, who's he up against? I don't even know what time slots are anymore.
He's,
like, Colbert's up against who?
Fallon and Kimmel.
So he's up against Fallon and... All right, okay, cool. I thought he was on later than that for some reason.
No, Corden's on later.
Corden's on later. Who's Corden up against? Is there Corden's not even up against anyone, is he?
Seth Meyers.
Oh, Seth Meyers.
Remember him? He's also got a show. It's tomorrow.
Yeah. I signed up for that new...
He's doing okay now, too.
I think they're all doing okay. There's the pie's not cut up too many ways. Expectations are low. I think they expect that, There was talk that they were going to be getting rid of Colbert. I think that was just based on early ratings and like whatever network he's on. Well, seriously, I don't know anything. CBS? Is it CBS?
Colbert, CBS. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Colbert was like, I think Colbert he was really hurting in the ratings, and there was this talk that maybe they were going to replace him, and CBS were like, are you kidding? We have a huge long-term deal with this guy. We're not pulling the plug on it just because of the first 6 months, which seems like a normal, sensible thing to say, but it's the type of thing that has to be said in broadcasting now. This is kind of inside baseball, but people are awfully quick to bail on you if you're not winning from the get-go. And you know what? Someone's always going to be winning, and someone's always going to be losing, so... All
right, well, Fallon's going to Orlando, so some of our listeners down there might be able to ask him some questions. I wonder what a good question for Fallon would be.
You want a drink?
Yes. Where do I... Yes. He's actually, no, I have one here.
Okay. That was cheap. We should move on. Let's do some actual news.
Scientists say that spiders could theoretically devour every human on Earth in a year.
I saw that. Not a fan of this particular statistic. So, Funkhauser, what do you want to do tonight, given the fact that neither of us are going to be able to get to sleep? Go on.
President Trump put his new environmental policy into action yesterday.
Some people say the plan can be summed up in one sentence. I'm 70. What do I care? Is it really as bad as people say it is? Like, here's the thing. Here's the thing about all of Donald Trump's policies and decrees and all of the above. The executive orders. First thing he did when he got to be president was go, hey, I made some promises when I was running for president, and if I don't look like I'm at least trying to keep these promises, people will have every justification to flay me alive. So, boom, 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 signed about like 1.3 million executive orders. And then all of these executive orders have pretty much gotten shot down. And he gets to look magnanimous. He gets to look like a white knight because of this, because he went, I wrote all these executive orders. I'm trying to do my part. Too bad that I'm being sabotaged by the media and my own government. I'm going to go talk to my friend Putin about how to deal with this. At least he knows that his people are on his side. Can't say that for America. Anyways. That's the thing. That's the thing about everything that Trump has put into action. A lot of it is going to be shot down. It's, we've said this before many times, and we've said this when Obama was in office. We said this when Trump was in office. The show started when Obama was in office, so beyond that. But retroactively, we've talked about the fact many times that presidents, how much power do they actually have? Almost none. Figurehead, really, it's not that as much of a thing as people think it is. I mean, it's a very important gig, but when it comes right down to it, there's people that can stand in the way of everything that a president wants to do. And people have been doing that. But signing all these executive orders, taking all these actions, and putting into place new policies on things like the environment allows Donald Trump to be like, hey, I'm trying to keep my promises. These evil a-holes that hate America aren't letting me.
You're longing for that shining sun. You walk these streets most every day. You're waiting to get washed away.
Real radio. Real radio.
104.1.
Now, more AD on the radio.
Alrighty then, Funkhauser, let's continue with the news. What else is going on in the world?
President Trump will not throw out the ceremonial first pitch at the Washington Nationals game yesterday because of a scheduling conflict.
Oh, he won't do it yesterday?
Correct.
Good. I'm glad to know he won't do it yesterday.
I do preview my news
You're doing work. Yeah.
Them.
You're working for Nikki Sixx on the side again while we do this show, aren't you?
No, I'm time traveling. Come on.
You're like, yeah, AD, that's fantastic. Shot at the devil! In case you did not know, Funkhauser splits his time between me.
More like shot at the devil.
He splits his time between me and the decidedly more stern taskmaster that is Nikki Sixx, bass player of Motley Crue fame, that has a really big show that people
and we met about the same amount of times. You more than him.
So let's try that piece of news again.
President Trump did not throw out the ceremonial first pitch at the Washington Nationals game yesterday because of the scheduling conflict.
If by scheduling conflict he means because his tiny little hands aren't able to grasp a baseball, sure, why not? Here's the thing, man. If you are offered a chance to throw out a first pitch at a baseball game, I sympathize with Donald Trump on this one. I do. He might have had a scheduling conflict. Let's just say that the president may have more important things to do than throw out a first pitch at a baseball game. Let's just err on the side of that. If you are a person that gets offered a shot at first pitch, you get up on a Major League Baseball mound and you look at the catcher. Even I pitched in school. Like, I was a pitcher in school. This is familiar to me. I did one of those things, the speed gun things. I was still able to put some heat on a ball. I was very, very excited about this. I threw faster than anybody else at the kids display at the Major League Baseball Fan Fest.
I was right field and I just run from bees.
I gotta tell you, man. So I did one of those things, and it was at the MLB All-Star Fan Fest last year when I was there. And you start to wonder, especially if you pitched in school the way I did, you go, I wonder if I can still bring the heat. I wonder what the heat is. Because, I didn't have a speed gun when I was a kid. I didn't know how fast I was throwing. I was good at baseball, but there were no scouts looking at me. So that wasn't something that was ever determined. So I'm like, how fast can I throw? All right, let me give this a go. And you're surrounded by 12-year-old, 13-year-old kids that are throwing 40 and 50 miles an hour. It's pretty impressive, the heat that some of these little kids can put on the ball. And then you see adult guys come in and do this almighty wind-up and let one rip, and they just crack 60. And there's a kid half your size there that's throwing 55. So you don't want to do this huge wind-up. You don't want to really get after it in a way that makes you look extra idiotic if you throw as fast as a 12-year-old. Come up to pitch, act like a pro, do a full wind-up, and wind up getting it in at 0 miles per hour. It's not a good look in front of a bunch of 12-year-olds. So I just kind of hucked it as hard as I could. And I was like, whoa! I think it was 71, 72 miles an hour. Not bad. And so I was like, okay, I'm in the clear. I'm really going to wind up as much as I can and put some hurt on this thing and see how fast I can throw. Forget trying to get it over the plate. I just want to see how fast I can make this little ball go. And my second pitch, full windup, bearing in mind my first one was 72 miles an hour, was 65. And then I took 3 more pitches. And in that time of having pitched maybe 4 or 5 pitches, I went from a 72 mile an hour throw to 50 mile an hour throw. My arm was ready to atrophy and I was done. My arm was toast. It was crazy. And it's funny. I went to the chiropractor. He's like, well, it was sports injuries. The good thing is, he's like, nah, I was like, no, let's not glorify this and call it a sports injury. Let's call this a grown man doing something stupid at Fan Fest. That's what kind of injury this is. But it was amazing to me to think about, there are these guys. My beloved New York Mets have their very well-known ace, Noah Syndergaard, who is throwing over 100 miles an hour on a regular basis and chucking out the better part of 100 pitches every single game. Incredible stuff, and really not losing that much speed off of it. I lost 20 miles an hour off of my fastball in 5 pitches. It's amazing. And the point I'm trying to make here is pitching is really, really, really hard. It's a difficult thing to do. And you get up onto a Major League Baseball diamond, and all of a sudden the catcher feels like he's a million miles away. And all of a sudden it feels like that catcher's mitt is so teeny tiny you can barely see it. And you are surrounded by a stadium full of people on opening day, some of whom are there to mercilessly boo you. I could understand President Trump going you know what? If I get up and throw a baseball, it could be a PR disaster, so I'm not going to do that. I think that's a perfectly reasonable thing to do, to bow out of a first pitch. I've been offered first pitches when the Mets were playing, and I just, when the Mets came to, and I was in San Diego at the time, and the Mets came to San Diego, and they're like, do you want a first pitch? And I was like, no, because if I blow it, It'll just be the worst thing ever. And our buddy Steve Hofstetter, who basically goes around the country throwing out first pitches now, ever since he went viral, he was like, "What are you talking about? You got to do it. It's the greatest feeling ever." I was like, "If I blow it, no, I can't. No." And he was like, "If you blow it, it'll be an awesome magical moment." 50 Cent threw the worst first pitch ever. Like. That thing like arced up about 50 feet in the air and landed sort of like 30 feet to the left of the catcher. Like nobody did it worse than 50 Cent, and he was able to laugh it off. I was like, it's a different thing for me. I would just be, if it was any other team, if like, hey, you want to throw out a first pitch at a Padres game? Who cares? Sure, but I don't want to taint my experience of the Mets in any way, shape, or form. Here's Jimmy Kimmel joking about how President Trump decided not to throw out the first pitch.
Threw out the first pitch today, but his pal Donald Trump did not. President Trump broke with baseball tradition, declining an invitation from the Washington Nationals to throw out the ceremonial first pitch. He did, however, throw out the first tweet this morning at 7:21 a.m. He tweeted, "Did Hillary Clinton ever apologize for receiving the answers to the debate? Just asking." This is what he's thinking about. Does he know he's not still running for president?
Houston's more stimulating talk radio, available anywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app. Download it now at kprcradio.com.
There's something happening here, and you should know what it is. The dumbing up of America. Now, more AD on the radio.
All right, Funkhauser, what else is going on in the world? K-freaking-pasa.
K-freaking-pasa, Washington, D.C. distillery named a new whiskey after Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Clinton whiskey? Mm-hmm. Perfect for drowning your sorrows after failed presidential bids and also after walking in on your husband nailing a chubby intern. Give me a shot of Hillary. Go on.
Rex Tillerson says he took the job as Secretary of State because his wife made him.
Wait. Read that again.
Rex Tillerson says he took the job of Secretary of State because his wife made him.
Made him. Right. Yeah, that's definitely the guy to stand up to North Korea. Go on.
United Airlines got attacked on social media over a misunderstanding on leggings.
Oh, yeah, we talked about the leggings. And, yeah, those who were angrily tweeting at the airline have since apologized. Kidding! They're busy tweeting death threats at somebody else they've never met about a situation they're not informed on. Go on.
A survey says humor is an important part of a company's culture.
Yeah, it's a very important part of my company's culture, humor. I realize that every single time I open up my paycheck. I'm like, ha, ha, ha. That's the humor. Go on.
The cast of the Fresh Prince got together recently. Took a big picture online.
Yeah, that was exciting. And look, the in-person reunion made us think, could there be a television reunion sometime soon? And if you're like me, you spent a good chunk of your misspent youth watching the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I loved that show growing up. But cast of Fresh Prince got together recently, hopefully to talk about an on-screen reunion. I believe, though, they just spent hours reminiscing and telling each other about how their lives got turned upside down since the show got canceled. You see the photo that Will Smith posted?
No. Oh, yeah, actually I did. There's everybody but Uncle.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he passed away, Funkhauser. Uncle Phil passed away. There was a picture of Will Smith smiling as he bungee jumped, and Will Smith is obviously in phenomenal shape. But like as he was bungee jumping, gravity took its toll on him, and it pushed up whatever he had going on under his neck and made it look like he had double chins. And I kid you not, with the double chins upside down, you hang Will Smith upside down during a bungee jump, he looks exactly like Uncle Phil. It was uncanny resemblance. I was just like, wow, how about that? That's you can try and find that picture online. Funkhauser, do a Google search for that. We should tweet that out because it really is something. But yeah, Will Smith posted a very happy photo of himself with the cast of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air at that reunion. I think, though, after the camera was turned off, things got less happy when Will Smith insisted on separate checks at dinner. Go on.
Olivia Newton-John hinted that a Grease reunion may be in the works.
Yes. Grease reunion.
Grease is a movie from the 70s, right?
Yeah. John Travolta and Olivia Neutron Bomb. John Travolta and Olivia Neutron Bomb might be reuniting for a Grease reunion. Fans will love such updated hits as Hopelessly Devoted to Metamucil.
Olivia Neutron Bomb.
Yeah,
yes.
The and the oh is just a bunch of old guys trying to have a bowel movement in the morning. Go on. I've ruined that for everyone forever.
Thanks
You're
for
welcome.
That.
Yeah, well, if you're watching Grease as an adult man, Funkhauser, you deserve to have something ruined for you. Go on, what else?
Brett Ratner says Rotten Tomatoes ruined movies.
Yeah, well, his comment started strong, sagged halfway through, and fell flat at the end. I give it a 3% freshness. Rotten Tomatoes, I can't believe, I think Rotten Tomatoes started as a goof, and now it basically decides the fate of millions. Entire careers can be made or broken by that website, Rotten Tomatoes. It reviews movies before they even come out, right?
I think so. Mm-hmm.
It was this goofy website, and now I get, press releases from PR people trying to get me to say nice things about their movies on the radio, being like, oh my God, you won't believe how many Rotten Tomatoes it scored. I'm like, jeez. Have some stones. Say this is a good movie. We think you'll like it. Watch it. Don't direct me to a website. Anyways, go on.
George Lopez will not apologize for insulting Ivanka Trump.
Ooh, you better be careful. Stuff like that could make her dad leery of Latinos, with which he has such a great relationship now and would be ashamed to ruin it. Go on.
There's a new device that could allow you to check your sperm count with your smartphone. I said there's a new device that could allow you to check your sperm count with your smartphone.
A smartphone that will never be borrowed ever again. Oh, that's interesting. Well, I mean, the upside is it saves you a... if I was trying to conceive and I was having problems conceiving, I'm one of those people that will... You have a doctor's appointment Thursday. Well, let's see what I can Google between now and then. I bet it's a lot. I bet none of it's right, but I bet I'm going to read all of it. That's my attitude. I hate waiting for anything that has to do with medical stuff. I want to know now, and I think it's ridiculous that I can't. So if I was attempting to conceive and there was
having your sleep number, your sperm number?
I would like to. Yeah. No, I mean, I would obviously go to the doctor, but I would bring them the results of that app and be like, hey, there you go. What do you think? What do you think, doctor that went to school for 12 years? Mr. Urologist that is still paying off college loans at the age of 50. There's an app for what you do. What do you think of its results? So, yeah, I would use it if I was trying to conceive unsuccessfully. Yeah, I probably would give it a go. But man, as if having your wife tell you weren't inadequate. Now you got to hear it from Siri too. Go on.
A snake got loose on an Alaska Airlines flight.
Yeah, I heard about that. Even worse, this was after the snake got on before its boarding group was called. I hate it when snakes do that.
Taking up the armrest and everything.
Oh my gosh. It's a snake dedicated to being a jerk that can take up space on an armrest. Oh my God, that would be my freaking nightmare. I hate snakes so much. I have a bona fide phobia of snakes. I can't even watch them on TV a lot of the time. Reptile houses at zoos. Thanks, I'll pass. No, when I go to places like Orlando, Florida,
where there are snakes everywhere, coming up toilets and stuff.
Well, and also in Texas where I lived for a good amount of time.
Ooh, scorpions.
Scorpions and snakes, oh my. But no, in places where I know there are snakes, And I've only lived in, I miss New York so much because you know what they don't have in New York City? Snakes. It's great.
Insects, living things at all.
Yeah. The roaches and the rats more than make up for the snake problem, but I don't have a phobia of roaches and rats. I'm no fan, but snakes, genuine phobia of them. And so, when I'm in places like Texas or Orlando or California where there are snakes, all the other places that I've lived in this country, New York, Texas, California, these are the places that I've called home. 2 of them have poisonous snakes in them. There's the place where I live in California, there's rattlesnake warning signs posted. I'm just okay, so we're going the other way. I won't get off the paved surface. If there's grass to be walked on, I'm not
they won't mess with you if you don't mess with them. You hear them coming too.
That doesn't make it any better. Phobia, actual phobia. Can't watch them on TV. I do remember one time though.
It's out. Yeah, I get it.
I do remember. Holy freaking God! I remember one time walking down the street in the Village in New York City, and as people like to do in the Village, you walk out with your pet rat because you go, "Ooh, I'm a person that lives in the Village. I have a pet rat. It's on my shoulder. What do you think of that? No big deal. Just a pet rat. Except, oh God, I hope everybody looks at me and talks to me about it. Freaking okay, whatever. But there was somebody that did that with their pet snake, walking down the street with their python, and I had to. It was. Whew, I'm getting uncomfortable. And
I don't have an opening line, but I have an animal.
Oh my God! Yeah, exactly. Hey, everybody, look at me. I've got a snake, and I'm trying to make it seem like it's no big deal. Why I made this person English, I'm not entirely sure. It just seemed to get the point across.
English people have snakes, then, huh?
No, they don't. And you know what? They don't have poisonous snakes in England. They've got adders, which are there's no snake that can kill you. Wildlife that can kill you is in short supply in England. It's a great thing. Go on. What else?
Let's see. President Trump put his new environmental policy into action yesterday. Didn't I say that?
Yeah,
I told you
did that.
Where did I go?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh. Okay. All right, then. Here it is. Video has surfaced of a Mexican bullfighter getting his rectum gored by a bull. Don't make me repeat that.
Rectum nearly killed him. Oh, no! A bullfighter, you say? Oh. If you want to check out video, just grab your laptop and Google karma. Go on.
There's a secret version of Tinder that hooks men up with models. What is this?
Yes. I think it's called Tinder Select. And if you want to date models and models only, that is a thing. If you are trying to figure out how to get yourself a little sweet loving on the weekend, you should be aware that if you want to just date models, there is a Tinder for that. Although I believe that instead of your profile picture, you just post a screenshot of your bank balance and then they decide.
I was going to say, are these real life models or cardboard cutouts of beautiful people?
The word model is
wax figure.
Well, the word model is an interesting one because there was a time where supermodels ruled the world. I heard something a little while ago, models are all angry because they don't get magazine covers anymore. When Cindy Crawford was a thing, everybody knew who Cindy Crawford was. She was on the cover of all these magazines. Now they put actors on magazine covers. And so models are we're no longer a thing. We're not supermodels. And so there were all these things that you had to adhere to be a model. And now if you can get a lot of views of your selfie on Instagram, you count as a model. And it's interesting to watch how the digital age has made various professions change, and that's one of them. A product will want you to be their spokesperson, their spokesmodel, if you've got a massive Instagram following. Doesn't matter if you have the appropriate measurements. Doesn't matter if you are the appropriate height. And, the old school models are apparently anybody with a big butt and an Instagram account can be a model now, but it wasn't like that in my day. Brr, 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 brr. So the word model is subject to some inspection when you find out that this version of Tinder hooks you up with models. You don't know what you're going to be getting. There you go. Funkhauser, how much time do we have
I would like
left?
to partake in that thing there. Give me the link, huh? If you're on that Tinder bonus, then...
I Google it. There's a secret version of Tinder that hooks men up with models. I don't know how to get to it. I'm not a
1 minute.
Not a social dater. All right, let's do one more piece of news.
Johnny Manziel got engaged in Paris.
Yes. Yes. His fiance said yes. Manziel should savor that yes, because it's not likely a thing that he's going to be getting from any NFL teams that he's asked for a tryout. In related news, Paris now completely out of alcohol. Go on.
An attorney is going to going to one of the highest courts in the state of New York seeking legal personhood for 2 chimpanzees.
I heard about this. So, like in India, dolphins are now viewed as non-human persons. It's an interesting thing, and this is basically what they're trying to do. They're trying to get it so chimps are considered to be persons, not people, not humans. They're going to one of the highest courts in the land seeking legal personhood for 2 chimpanzees. And I get it. I get the whole sort of thing. Hey, they're really smart animals. They deserve better than they're given at the moment. And that's one thing. But my gut reaction on this is, hell no! Do you know how quickly it goes from these 4 apes are just like us to Charlton Heston pounding wet sand in front of a half-buried Statue of Liberty? No thanks.
Not today.
I just hate you so much. It's time for you to go. You know how a lot of times you feel like it's cool to turn the other